What's up, YouTube fam? So as I said yesterday in the KX250 vlog, today, boys and girls, we are here at the severely overgrown Castillo Ranch practice facility for Supercross. And today, boys and girls, a treat especial just for you guys. Adam Enticknap and myself, we are going to be testing motor mounts. Now, for a lot of you guys, that's unheard of. You guys have never even heard of that concept. But I tell you what, pre-season Supercross 2019, we did a lot of motor mount testing on Ty's Crf450r. The difference was so noticeable, it could almost be compared to a suspension change. That's how like crazy different the two were from going to a hard, medium, and soft. Well, today at this beautiful, overgrown, but still a lot of fun track, we're going to be testing a few mounts. And Adam Enticknap's bringing out his 2019 Suzuki RMZ 450 that he is racing in Supercross right now. And we're going to test just exactly what each mount does and maybe find out from his science and his theory and how he feels it works. See if we can find out a mount that works right for you guys and what you guys should be looking for. Let's go. So somewhere in these plants is a practice Supercross track. You guys didn't know we were in Hawaii right now. So never forget to water your flowers before you ride. Makes it look so much prettier. These aren't the flowers we want though. We're mainly just focusing on watering turns because one of the aspects of these motor mounts that gets changed is the turning. And if you can't get your bike to turn, you might look at these motor mounts. So as I said before, today we have Adam Enticknap's 2019 HEP Suzuki RMZ 450. And we are going to be trying out these mounts on this beautiful machine. All right, guys, so today we are just testing only the front motor mounts. And yes, I know you guys are already thinking to yourself, front motor mounts only, how is that even going to affect the way that this bike's going to handle? And I'll tell you right now, we'll tell you very shortly how drastic it goes from stock, extra stiff, stiff, medium, and soft. We're going to run all of these back to back, and we're going to come up with what each mount does individually and which one Adam likes the best. Into the forest he goes. So as of right now, he's just getting a baseline. He's going to work out in his mind what exactly the stock mounts do. He's been using the stock mounts for a while. He's well adapted to them. He knows exactly how the bike feels, but he wants it fresh in his mind exactly how the stock mounts feel. Now, he is running a mid upper mount on the engine. I know some of you were going to ask that. That is a mid, and that is something that he is absolutely sure that he loves at this point over stock. So we're going to baseline everything off the mid upper engine hanger, and then now we're going to move into the fronts here. Now that we got a baseline set for the stock mounts, which ones are we moving to first, bro?
We're gonna go extra stiff.
We're gonna go
work our way down through.
Extra stiff, then stiff, soft, or medium, then soft. Like that. All right, guys, so we just installed the extra stiff mounts, complemented by the medium uppers. And what you want to do on this, guys, is torque all the mounts, make sure they're all at factory recommendations, so you have your consistency, and also top off your gas tank every single time so you have the same weight ratio balanced on top of the bike, so it's an accurate reading every single time. So he's gonna go take a spin on these. Let's see what he finds out. Let's face it, guys, every time you guys ride a track, it isn't always gonna be prepped and beautiful. So we think this is an awesome baseline course to get these readings.
So we just got back. We tried the extra stiff. The initial feeling is actually that the front end gets a lot softer, and the whole front of the bike feels like I have, you know, it just gives it this really squishy feel, which gives you a lot of front end traction, which you would think is the opposite with the extra stiff. But it's weird because I think with the extra stiff, by taking that part of the frame and stiffening it up, I think it puts more pressure on the front fork, and it makes the fork actually feel softer. So you initially have more front wheel traction. But I think what I'm looking for is maybe on the softer side, because I'm not looking for as much front end steer, because the Suzuki does steer so good that I'm maybe looking for a little bit more stability. So let's go to the stiff version and get another reading.
Now we're going to try the stiff mounts.
Alright, so we just got done with round 2. I think that was the stiff mounts. Actually, I know that was the stiff mounts. So initial thoughts as soon as I got off the bike is that they're definitely better, I think, for the track right now than the extra stiff. They are, the thing that I initially felt was just a ride height of the front end was a little taller, and it wasn't as inconsistent. With the extra stiff ones, it felt like the front end would dip down and then it would come back up, and then it would dip down really quick and kind of sporadic. Like with the stiff ones, it felt like the ride height was a little bit taller in the front, not so far down, and then it kind of just had a little bit more hold up and a lot more of a consistent feel, which is definitely the direction I want to go. I don't think that for the conditions right now that the stiff ones are better than the stock ones, but we're going the right direction now. So let's go to a medium and see what the thoughts are.
Boys and girls, so with 2 mounts left, we're now moving to the mediums, like he said. Each time there's a graduation in mount. I wanted to point this out. The CNC goes deeper and deeper. Can you guys see the graduations? Which allows the mount to flex more.
Round 3. All right, guys, so we're at round 3. We're at mediums, and so far I definitely like these the best. They're the most consistent feel. With the extra stiff, you know, they were soft and the front end was really wallowy. Then I went to the stiff, and when I got off the extra stiff, I was like, okay, this is definitely better. I felt how much higher it rode as far as like the ride height in the front, and then it would dip down less. But now, until I rode the mediums where I'm at right now, I didn't realize how consistent the bike could be in the front until I rode with these mediums. So this is definitely the best setting so far. I would say this is the closest to stock that we have been. It's just consistent all the way around. I really like the ride height. It's not up and it's not down. It's kind of in the middle. So, which, I mean, I guess that's why they called it medium. So as of right now, medium is definitely the best for the track conditions and the suspension setup that I have. Now with my suspension setup, I run about a 102 sag and I think I run 8 millimeter. Yes, I run 8 millimeters of fork height on my Supercross setting. So when I'm testing these are definitely all for my settings, you know what I mean? So if I run an outdoor setup, you know, I'm going to run 108 and probably a 2 mil fork height setting to, you know, because I like that stable feel. But so I could have a whole different feel on these motor mounts in the front. So as of right now, where we're at with Supercross, we have a 102 sag, 8 millimeter front fork height, and I definitely like the mediums the best. It felt the most consistent. And not only on ride height did it feel the most consistent, but in turn, because the ride height was so consistent, that I felt like I had a really stable amount of traction. I want to use a better word, but I mean, I guess the best word is just a consistent traction feel. You know, it didn't feel like all of a sudden it was going to wash. It didn't feel like it was all of a sudden hooked up. It just felt even all the way across the board. And that to me is the feeling that I'm looking for, because I know what it's going to do. And if I know what it's going to do, then I know where I can push it, where I can't push it. And that even feel of traction lets me
be a little bit more confident.
Yes, feel much more confident, and being able to trust the front end and know what the front end, I think that's the biggest thing, is just knowing what it's going to do. When it's consistent, I know what it's going to do, and that way I can push my riding style. So that's where we're at right now. That was our third set. We're at medium, and I guess for all you guys out there that are testing new parts and just putting new parts on your bike, I think one of the biggest things is get off the track and write what you had down in your head instantly. Just get off the track and go vlog or video or write down exactly how you feel about it and what your thoughts were on it and what the feelings were, because the best you know, the best knowledge you have is that instant knowledge. As soon as you kind of let your body settle and your brain settle and you're sitting over there, you can almost think yourself out of what you were feeling. So just go right over to the truck or wherever you're at, write down what you felt, and then go on to the next thing.
Now we have the last set on, which are the soft. And what we're going to actually do, he's going to go run the softs, and then he's going to come back and he's going to put the stock ones back on just to verify the changes, because they are so significant so far that he has to make sure he's almost not playing games with himself. So he's going to go try these out, and let's see what he says.
Alright, so we just got a pretty good feel for the softs. It's not super softs, it's just softs. First initial feel, stiff in the front. Not quite as hooked up as the mediums. I think the mediums for the conditions are just the best. But this is kind of what I was looking for at the Supercross track during the weekend, because it's been so tacky. As you guys can see, the track definitely is more on the dry side right now. So, you know, a little bit more front end feel and a little softer feel is going to be better. I don't think that the super stiffs making the front end that soft was better, but I think where that medium was at, it's definitely the best for the track conditions. But what I really did like about this is that it was straight. I know that sounds kind of funky, but when there was a rut or there was something like in the face, like a little bit of a groove, the front end didn't want to catch that groove. It kind of just wanted to go over the top of it and kind of go where I pointed the bike instead of where the groove pointed the bike. And that was definitely one of the things that I was searching for in the front end this season, is to kind of just make the bike go straight. because the bike turns so good. You know, and that's really only something that you worry about on a prime supercross track, because the dirt is so tacky that every single knobby on your front end is just hooking up. So, you know, we're to the point where the tracks are so tacky and the bikes are turning so good that, you know, I was just looking for a little bit more of the front end being straight in between the rhythm sections, because I love the way the bike turns, but I just like it to kind of go a little straighter in the rhythm sections, and then coming into the corners, you know, not being so reactive to the little bump. So I think this could be something that I give a shot, you know, maybe in free practice this weekend, depending on the conditions. See how it goes. But as of right now, I think I am leaning towards the mediums, which are slightly they're slightly different from stock, but very, very close. But they are actually different. I think they are just a tad bit softer than stock, which would actually make the front end be a little bit straighter, because as we've been talking about in this video, the stiffer the front motor mount, the more restricted the front of the frame is, which is putting more pressure on the front fork, making the fork softer. So with a stiffer motor mount, it's tying down your frame in the very front and putting more pressure on the fork, which is making the fork work more. So when you relieve the pressure and you give the front end, the front of the bike, more flex, what it's actually doing is taking the pressure off, directly off of the fork, and it's actually letting the fork be a little bit more free and using the frame to soak up some of that energy. So, you know, when you go too soft, it's soaking up so much energy that the fork's not working hard enough. And then when you go too stiff, it's soaking up so much energy that it's putting it all back into the fork and making the fork really soft. So really depending on what you feel and your preference, again, going with your bike setup, you know, you want to go from stiff or do you want to go soft? That's kind of up to you. It's a full rider preference thing. Do you want your bike to turn more? Then if you want more front end feel, you're going to go with a stiff motor mount. If you want your bike a little bit more streamlined stability, you're going to go with a really soft mount. You know, and this is something that I was talking about with Clint, is that these are big changes. This isn't something like, oh man, I can tell because I'm a professional and I ride my bike and I'm perfectly in tune. It was something when I got on the bike and I put the super stiffs on, I was like, wow, Clint, this is like a huge difference. So this is something, you know, your everyday weekend warrior rider is going to be able to feel when you try these out.
Now, to solidify all the feelings that he's had throughout the day to each individual mount, what we're going to do now is return to the OEM mounts in the front, just to verify that what he was feeling is true to like what he's saying. But so far, it's so dramatic between all the mounts that he's sure. But in true testing fashion, you have to go back and try the stocks one more time and just compare them. And I have a feeling at the end of the day, he sold on the mediums. But I hope you guys get a lot of info from this, because this has been really informative for me. All right, guys, to recap, we started off with stock. We went extra stiff, medium, and soft. Now we're back at stock to get a final impression.
So we did a few laps on the stock ones. I think I like the medium ones a little bit better, to be honest. And the reason that is because I think these ones are slightly stiffer than medium. I think the medium is actually a softer mount, which in turn makes the front end just slightly stiffer, because like we said, when you have the softer mount, it takes more energy out of the fork, which is making the fork stiffer. So when you give the frame more flex, it's going to let the fork work less, because it's not putting all that energy onto the fork, making the fork stiffer. So I think these mediums are actually stiffer.
The stocks are stiffer.
Yes, sorry. The stalks are stiffer, so it's actually putting more pressure on the fork, making the fork slightly softer, which I kind of don't like, but it turns so damn good. You know, and most of it is just trying to fine tune, you know, that feel of accuracy. You know, right now, I think that the mediums are just this much softer, and that's making that fork just want to go just a tiny bit straighter through everything. But I think between the super soft, or the softs, and the mediums is where I'm gonna kind of live for the next couple weeks. I'm gonna do a lot more testing. Today was just our initial feel on the motor mounts and where they were from the stock motor mount. So where I'm at is I want to keep working on the mediums. I'm going to keep trying the softs, especially with a much tackier track. I think we'll have a drastically different result with the tackier track. And the other thing is that I think that the softs might have a lot of potential, because if I'm getting that feeling of straight, but it's not cornering quite as good as I want to, you know, maybe we go to just a little bit more fork height, which is more fork showing. Get the fork down so it'll steer a little bit better, and then maybe that super soft will make the fork work less, and it'll have a different ratio to where the bike will actually be straighter and it'll turn better. So that's something that we have to test in the future, but for right now we're going to leave everything the same. We're going to work between that medium motor mount and the soft motor mount, and just go from there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you click follow and subscribe. Keep it real, YouTube fam.
Let's go. All right, guys, so that's the video for today. I appreciate you all stopping by and checking it out. I hope it was a wealth of information for you guys. It was for me. It's very eye-opening. I'm definitely going to try working on mine as well. I'm thinking, after everything that I've learned from Adam today, because one thing that I love about my Suzuki, same as Adam, is I love how the thing turns. I would love to get a little bit more straight line stability out of it, and in doing that, I think going with just a little bit softer of a mount over stock, like a medium for myself as well, will work great. Now, this test isn't only dialed to Suzuki. The feelings that are expressed in this are about dirt bikes. All these motor mount changes can directly cross over to any one of your bikes. So if you got a CRF, a YZF, if you got a KX, if you got, you know, RMZ, KTM, Husqvarna, all of those, if you're having an issue where the front end's too stiff, too soft, the front end knifes, you don't have enough positive feeling on the front end, all can be changed through the front motor mounts. I think that's pretty awesome. So where can you get these motor mounts? Glad you guys asked. These motor mounts right now are still in the prototype stage. However, YouTube fam, you guys can get a hold of these mounts. You just need to contact Michael Lindsay on Instagram. I'll make sure put his name up here on the screen. That's his username on Instagram. He also has a YouTube channel I know of too, but make sure you guys contact Michael Lindsay, and I'm sure he can get you guys a price and availability on these mounts, because I guarantee once you guys try these things, you'll be blown away. It's amazing what just these little fine-tuning motor mount things do that just change your bike so much. So with that, fam, appreciate all you stopping by today. Thank you to Adam Enticknap for inviting me out to shoot the video for these motor mounts. I think it was a really, really good day, and lots still in store for you guys. Don't forget to click that subscribe button like Adam said, like, follow, and then we're going to get the graphics on that KX really soon and get that thing out on the dirt, and I can't wait to get some test rides on that thing too with the YouTube fam. So anyways, guys, peace out for now. I love every single one of you guys.